Now, the government isn't preparing quickly enough for the end of the Brexit transition period, and that puts the supply chain at risk. Well, that's the warning from Logistics UK, which says that the new smart freight system that all companies involved in exporting to the EU will have to use will not be ready in time for sufficient testing and training. Well, the transport company trade body goes on to warn that risks are increased because the system will come online at the very busiest part of the year. Well, joining me now is Sarah Luardi. She's European Policy Manager at Logistics UK. She joins me now from Brussels. Sarah, welcome to you. The Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, has been on the airwaves this morning saying that there'll be no disruption to supply chains. What do you know that he doesn't?
Well, we're asking government to accelerate the preparations around the future border plans to avoid massive disruptions. Now, on smart freight in particular, you have to bear in mind that it's one of up to 8 new different IT systems that transport companies alone will have to use to board ferries to the continent. Government is confident that smart freight will be ready by the end of this year, but it's not good enough if the public beta version is only available close to the end of the year, because that timeline actually underestimates the complexity of just-in-time supply chains and the amount of work required for all entities involved in supply chains to create a new chain of command, so to say, to make sure that exporters, transport companies, truck drivers, subcontractors possibly, and customs agents are in a position to bring together all the pieces of information from all these different people at the right moment into the system. So it's really crucial now that government speeds up the rollout of the system so that businesses can start building their own business processes on that basis.
But Sarah, what makes you think it's not going to be ready on time? The fact that they haven't started it rolling out already? I mean, there's still 4 months before the end of the year.
4 months is a really short amount of time, actually, and we haven't seen a test version that has gone widely to the industry. And again, I want to re-emphasize the fact that it's something that will have to be used by thousands of companies in the UK, but also in the EU. EU businesses will have to use that, and they will have to coordinate with many other players of supply chains. So that's not processes that you can put in place at the last minute in November or December while you are on top of that preparing for the Christmas logistics peak.
Has the industry had much involvement in the development of smart freight, or has it been imposed on you from above, as it were?
We've had a lot of engagement with government over the last 3 years about different aspects of the future processes. I have to say that smart freight is one of the last systems that have been added to the picture. It was not part of the systems that we had a chance to engage with last year ahead of a potential no deal, no transition scenario. So it arrived quite late. And that's why we think it's our responsibility now to raise the alarm and be very clear that if we want to deliver on the 1st of January, we need government to deliver the system for testing and for further developments on the industry side right now.
Now, you and other industry bodies have written to the Chancellor, and you've also written to Michael Gove asking for an urgent meeting on this topic. Have you had any reply from the government?
We've asked for a meeting indeed. We've made that point very clear, that we would like government to inject a much greater sense of urgency on that. We're waiting for a reply, and we'll for sure continue engaging in a constructive manner with government to share the expertise of our members in the logistics industry and make sure that we do everything in our control to minimize the risk of disruptions on the 1st of January.
You mentioned the position from the EU there as well as the UK. Where do you think, if there is friction at the border, there is going to be most hold-ups, most snarl-ups and congestion? Will it be in the EU itself, or will it be in Britain?
Well, we're all in this together in the same boat. There's 2 sides to a border. So if there's gridlock on one side, the other side is going to be affected as well. Smart freight is intended to anticipate as many of the issues as possible, so as to be in a position to deal with them away from the border, to avoid gridlock around short straight ports, which is a sensible plan to have. But it's even more sensible if we have an opportunity to test it and develop the add-ons that we need to have in place for the industry to be able to use the system in an effective manner that makes a difference and ensures that flows is going to continue through the border after the end of the transition period.
All right, Sarah, we have to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me. Thanks very much.